Yo, man. It's me, Cringe. Do you still remember me? I make cringe videos. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Man, I really enjoy not having an intro, to be honest with you. No, yeah, man, I'm just kicking it. You know how I be. It's Monday. I got some cringe on the menu for you. We're on a new channel. This chick's name is Stella Ray, and she has a video that's titled "I Was the Side Chick." That's it. That's all it says. That's all. So I imagine there's a pretty fucked up story behind it. So there's that. It's pretty self-explanatory, but definitely some tragedy ahead. Brutal stuff for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive in.
Hey guys, so today's video is another story time, and this is about the time that I was the side chick. So this happened, I feel like maybe 2 years ago, so I feel like I can talk about it now, you know, I'm like healed. So at this time, I did still have my Twitter and Instagram.
I'm gonna lean back from the screen because I feel like she's like a foot away from my face just to get like the normal sense of personal space. Here we go.
And everything, like whatever. So one time this guy followed me on Twitter, and I noticed that he was from my area. So of course you're gonna follow him back if like a kind of cute guy follows you. So of course followed him back, and then a few days later he slid in those DMs. He was like, oh, like what high school do you go to? Like blah blah blah. And I was like, I was young and naive at the time, so I didn't really think anything of it, and I feel like this was not like before the time of sliding in the DMs, but it wasn't as much of a joke as it is now, so I just went along with it. We were talking through DMs for a couple days, and then he asked for my number and I gave it to him, so another mistake.
Oh shit.
He kept saying like, oh, we should hang out, like, oh, we should go do something sometime, and I was like, yeah, of course, because, you know, a new friend. I don't really know a lot about this guy, so I decided to stalk his IG and his Twitter, and I saw
if a chick has an Instagram and then her profile is public, but then she has a little shit in the bio that says stalk me or stop stalking me or some shit like that, but then her profile is fucking public, like what that doesn't even make sense. And then sometimes, like, just on YouTube, I've seen like they'll link their Instagram from their YouTube, and then they'll say some shit like stalk me or whatever the fuck, and then they'll list their Instagram, and it's like, bro, like what? Like, your Instagram is public, like you made it public, you want people to look at it. Why do you have to position it like you don't want people to try to look at your shit? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you clearly do want people to do it, so just, I don't understand this weird little, like, you have to position it a certain way so it makes it seem like you don't want people to check you out on Instagram. You clearly do.
they weren't that recent of pictures, but just like pictures of him with this girl, and I was like, Luckily I wasn't dumb enough to know that that was a red flag, but I still like didn't really think that much of it. It was just something I kind of noticed. So he keeps bugging me about hanging out, and
bugging you about hanging out. Dude, if I'm on Instagram and there's this girl who lives in my area and we strike up a conversation and then we exchange numbers, I'm going to assume at some point we're going to hang out. And then moreover, even before that, I'm going to assume that you also want to hang out as well. It's like, it's not a one-sided thing. What the fuck? Like, why would you give your number to someone who you don't want to eventually hang out with if they live in your area? That's like weird and dumb.
I wasn't really ignoring him. I was just kind of like not making a set plan or date or anything. So this one time we decided to hang out that day, and I was pretty excited. You know, I got a cute outfit on, and literally at the last minute, like literally an hour before he was gonna pick me up, he was like, oh, I can't make it today. And I was like, That's definitely a sign, I think, in any, like, starting of a relationship, or if you're starting to talk to someone, if they are flaky off the bat, it's like, okay, I'm over it. But again, I was young and naive and I didn't know better, so I was just like, oh, like, I was upset, but I was like, oh, he probably had something come up, like, whatever. Honey, I would slap my past self, honestly. So I was kind of bummed, but whatever, like, I could make other plans with my friends. Time goes on and he doesn't text me for a few days, and I'm kind of like, this is weird, like, you were all into me, you kept bugging me about hanging out, and now you canceled the plans that we made that you wanted to make and don't hit me up. It was summer, so I think it was like 4th of July or something, and I was with all my friends. We were like at a party or something. I was just on my phone looking through pics and like Twitter and IG and stuff, and I saw all these pics that he and that girl had posted from that night, 4th of July. So I'm like, okay, well, okay. They're still talking or whatever. Like, literally, I kid you not, like an hour or two later, he texts me. Oh, like, we need to hang out. Bitch, I need to put this on silent. I'm just so confused. I'm like, are you with this girl? Are you not? Like, do you want to hang out with me? Do you not? Like, make up your mind, bitch. Should have just not responded to his text, but of course I did. And I was like, yeah, like, whatever. We can hang out. So we keep texting into the night, and he just keeps, you know, getting more and more provocative, I feel like. And again, another red flag. If you're getting that provocative without even hanging out with someone, you obviously just want one thing.
Dude, she's telling one side of the story, bro. Get the fuck out of here. He's the only one getting provocative, and he's just doing that. No input from you at all, little sweetum. You're just in the audience and he's on the stage performing, getting saying all this shit. In a situation where you guys exchange phone numbers and are no longer messaging on Instagram. You would never think about something like that or anything like that before meeting anybody ever. Yo, she's fucking lying, bro. There's input from her. Obviously, I'm a man and I know how us guys be. I know how it be sometimes, you know, but at the same time, like, I also know that if she's like super put off by that, one of two things is going to happen. She is going to end the conversation if she's really put off by that. And if she's not put off by that, it's going to turn into a situation where, you know, it goes past a certain point and it goes past a certain level. And that only happens with input from her as well. Whether that's her laughing at whatever the fuck you're saying, or obviously her reciprocating and saying like some of the same shit back. You know what I mean? Like, she doing something, ultimately doing something to kind of perpetuate it in some way. So unless she cut it all off or whatever, again, I haven't seen this fucking video, but unless he just started saying all this shit out of the blue or whatever that you're not with, and then you shut it all down, I'm definitely not buying that he just started with all the dirty talk and you're like, and he just kept on doing it, and even though you weren't with it, you just kind of hung out. Like, I don't buy that for a fucking second. Get out of here, dude.
Like, I was young and naive and I was like, oh, this guy likes me. Like, no. So flash forward, I feel like it was like a week later or something, we finally hang out. He picked me up. He did not.
See? Like, what the fuck? Like, she's over here trying to minimize, you know, her role and her interest in the person, because he was saying like the provocative shit or whatever the fuck that she clearly was not with, quote unquote. And then, you know, you end up going out with them anyway. So it's like, you have to pick a lane to be in, sweetheart. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, if you're saying the shit that you're not with, then stop talking to him. But if you are interested in him, then don't minimize that. Like, yes, he seemed to be escalating the conversation, but you were reciprocating that to some degree because you continued to see him even after that. So clearly what he was saying before wasn't that off-putting to you.
Come to the door, he did not. He just like literally stayed in his car. And my mom Lisa got literally so mad. She was like, oh my God, this is when I was first starting to like hang out with boys and like go on dates or whatever. dates. Lisa literally went out to his car and was like, hi, like, where are you taking my daughter? It was so funny. I was embarrassed at the time, but looking back, I'm so glad she did that, and I wish that she would have been meaner to him because he was disgusting. We end up going to this park and we're just like talking and whatever, and then he's like suddenly being so touchy and like, you cannot do that on the first date, honey. And first of all, this isn't even a date. We're just like hanging out, so stop. He's like putting his hand on my leg and like playing with my hair, and I'm just like confused. I mean, obviously I can't lie, like I was not like into him, but I just like, you know, when that first starts to happen to you when you're a young teen, it's like, wow, like I feel so cool. Like it was just more of I feel cool. It wasn't like I like him as a person or anything. Just like, wow, a guy's giving me attention. And that's never a reason to do anything with anyone just because you like the attention. Like, no, not worth it.
Dude, like at this point, you guys have to be seeing this shit. Like, she's clearly playing both sides. She was saying that, oh, this dude was being more physical, all this other stuff, trying to, you know, convey maybe something of what he wanted to do, right? And she maybe didn't really like that or whatever, wasn't necessarily with that. But then on the other side of it, she did like the attention that she was getting from him, and that may have played a role in her not communicating that she didn't want to be more physical with the dude. And it's like, dude, like, come the fuck on, man. Like, honestly, dude, I will give you an analogy. It's like, dude, if you say like, hey, do you want to go out and get some food? And I'm like, yeah. And then we both get in the car, we go to, I don't know, Chipotle, we get some food, and then we come back. And then after the fact, I say, I didn't really want to go get food with you because I wasn't actually hungry, but I liked hanging out with you, so I went. Also, you actually kind of forced me to go get food with you. Does that make any sense at all? If you didn't want to go get food, why did you go get food?
He kisses me and I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was gonna go this way so soon. Then we get back in his car and he takes me home, and like at least, and Lisa literally knew that we like hooked up or whatever. She was like, oh, did you kiss that boy? And I was like, I text my friends, I tell them what happened. It was probably 15 minutes after he dropped me off, he texted me and he was like, that was so fun, like, oh, like we need to do that again. I was like, oh my god, he's into me, like, honey. He just did not get as far as he wanted to. Literally the next day, me and my family and Zara were going to this cabin like that we rented out. We were gonna be gone for, I think it was like a week, maybe a little less than a week. So I'm obviously not going to be able to see this boy. And I was pretty glad just because I wasn't like mad, but I was just like, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. He was texting me throughout the ride and he was like, oh, I can't wait to like see you when you get back. I hope you have so much fun, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, maybe this is like, maybe he's not just a fuckboy. Like maybe he actually likes me. Honey, you hung out with him once, like. So we get to the cabin, whatever. And luckily there's not Wi-Fi, but like service. So I'm, you know, looking through Twitter, looking through IG, doing my thing, and I see he posted another pic of him and that girl. It started to finally click, and then 2 or 3 days into the trip, I get a text from an unsaved number. Like I did not have the number in my phone, and it was the girl from the pictures. She was like, I know that you had sex with my boyfriend, back the fuck off, blah blah blah. First of all, he and I did not even have sex, so she was like, stop fucking talking to him, stop flirting with him, blah blah blah. And I was just so confused and like annoyed and just mad at him for like leading me on like that if you're literally in a relationship. I texted her back, I was like, oh, we just hung out once. Like true, we did like kiss, but I honestly did not know. Like I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like that was not my intention. I didn't know you guys were together, like we only hung out once. And she was like, well, at least, but I know that he fucked this other girl, so I just want to, you know, keep tabs. And I was like, oh my god, like how many girls has he played?
I have a question. How did the dude's main chick find out about this girl, the narrator of the story? Like how did she know anything was going on? I don't understand that. Like if this dude's any good at cheating, which again, I've never cheated on anybody, never will, but I'm just saying, how did his main chick find out about the side chick. Just wondering. Because I doubt that he's posting pictures about this shit on his Instagram if she's the side chick. Just wondering about that. Like, how does that make any sense? Oh, and then another thing too. How did the main chick get the narrator's phone number? Like, I would understand if, like, maybe it was, like, through messaging on Instagram or something. Like, I mean, I guess I could get that. Like, maybe she just saw messages between the two of them and then, like, decided to reach out on her own, maybe. But how did she... Well, I guess she could have seen the conversation that they had and then saw her number and then from there did it. But yeah, I guess that could work. But even still, like, if the main chick found the side chick, like, how does the dude fall off like that? Like, in a situation where, I don't know, just saying.
While he's in a relationship. This is the kind of guy that just needs to not exist. So that night he texted me and he's like, hey, how are you, with like a heart emoji. And I was like, are you literally kidding me? So I did not reply. I wasn't afraid of the girl, but I was just like, I felt so bad because if a guy did that to me, I mean, I would be more mad at the guy, but like, I would be so hurt, and I just felt really bad. I just felt so bad for doing that, like, without really knowing. And like, I should have known, I should have paid more attention to the signs, but SMH, what can you do? So I don't text him for the rest of the trip because I just feel so bad. And I don't want to even talk to him anymore. I'm like, honestly, like, that enough is enough. Our vacation's over, we go back home, and then literally like every other day for the next few weeks he texts me every night and he's like, hey, like, do you want to hang out? I'm having a party tonight. Do you want to hang out? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? I rarely texted him back, and if I did, it was just like very simple replies like, haha. I was just not trying to engage. I did not want to make that girl mad.
Why didn't you block him? Like, why you... If you've established him as a cheater and she's completely done with him and he's the type of guy that shouldn't exist, why didn't she block him? Just wondering.
So then I don't hear from him until school starts, and it's literally like 7, I feel like 7, 8 in the morning, and he texts me and he's like, hey, like, he's being overly just a lot. And he's like, are you a virgin? Like, and I was like, why do you ask? And he was like, because you're really hot. Haha, we need to hang out, with so many smirky faces, so many of like the smiling devil emojis. Like, I was like, what? Are you okay? Like, and he was like, I'm just so drunk. It was 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. I just deleted the text message. I did not want to have to deal with that. And then that night, that girl texts me again and she's like, I told you to stay the fuck away from him. At this point, I was just pretty done, so I blocked him on IG. A few weeks went by again. I didn't hear from him, luckily, because I blocked him on like so many social networks and like deleted his number. And then I get a text and it's like, I feel like I should explain my douchiness. He was like, oh, me and my girlfriend were like broken up at the time that you and I were hanging out, and we're not together anymore, so if you want to hang out, like, it's cool. The lies just keep coming. I was pretty much disgusted. I was like, at least, but no, like, I'm not down. And he was like, why not? Like, I'm not with her. She's like a bitch. And I was like, oh my god, you think I'm gonna, like, honey. I just deleted the text. I did not want to have to deal with that, and I haven't heard from him since. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. He did hit me up. Literally, this, I told you this was like a few years ago. He hit me up recently because I posted a really good selfie, and he just, you know, wanted to tell me how good I looked and like So moral of the story is, first of all, do your research. If a guy hits you up, slides in those DMs, you have to know what he's about. You have to know if he's in a relationship. Also, don't assume that a guy likes you just because he wants to hang out with you and hook up with you.
These people sounded like youngsters, which people do dumb things when they're young, but I'm just saying I saw a lot of errors in judgment. But anyways. But no, man, like, my whole thing would be like, if you're not trying to hang out with whoever and all this other shit, shut it down. That's simple. That's it. But anyways. But yeah, man, that's gonna do it for today. Still looking through story times, finding new channels and shit. But yeah, that'll do it. Until Wednesday.